All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something pretty incredible that's happening just beneath the surface in Iran, which, as you know, is one of the world's most restrictive regimes. You see, inside the Islamic Republic of Iran, there's this huge paradox playing out. On the one hand, you have a nation run by a very strict interpretation of Shia Islamic law. But on the other, something completely different is taking hold. So, on one hand, the state officially makes it one of the most dangerous places on earth to be a Christian. But on the other hand, and get this, it's also, paradoxically, the home of what many researchers are calling the world's fastest growing evangelical church. It's like a spiritual counter-revolution happening in secret. So how is that even possible, right? That's the big question we're tackling in this explainer. How is a movement like this not only surviving, but actually thriving under a government that is actively trying to stamp it out? We're going to unpack all the forces behind this amazing religious shift. Okay, to really get a sense of just how big this is, we have to start with the numbers. And honestly, they're staggering. Think back to 1979, right before the Islamic Revolution. The number of Iranians from a Muslim background who had converted to Christianity, it was minuscule. We're talking maybe 500 people in the entire country. Now, fast forward to today, that number, it has absolutely exploded. Now, getting official figures is impossible, obviously, but credible estimates put the number of believers at over 1 million. And some missiologists, those are the folks who study Christian missions, they're clocking the annual growth at nearly 20%. That's just incredible. And, this isn't happening in a vacuum. A 2020 survey from an independent group called Gaman found that only about a third of Iranians even identify with the state's official religion anymore. So what you're seeing is this massive disillusionment with the regime's version of faith, and that's creating a huge opening. All right, so if all this is happening, if the numbers are exploding, how does it actually work? How does this movement operate on the ground, especially when the government sees it as a major threat? And make no mistake, the risks are huge, and they're getting worse. A recent human rights report showed that arrests of Christians almost doubled in just the last year. The regime is literally prosecuting converts under national security laws. Think about that. Just choosing a different faith gets you labeled an enemy of the state. So how do they survive? They go underground. Public church services in Farsi are banned, so the whole movement has become this decentralized web of secret house churches. We're talking small groups meeting in living rooms built on absolute trust. It makes them incredibly hard for security services to find and break up. And then you've got the second major driver here, technology. It's like a digital lifeline. Satellite TV channels can beam right into millions of homes, totally bypassing government censors. From there, people use secure VPNs and encrypted apps to talk and learn safely. Some groups are even using AI-powered theological chatbots to secretly train new believers. It's amazing. But okay, beyond the politics and the tech, there's another layer to this story. And honestly, it's maybe the most extraordinary part of it all, a widespread phenomenon that's acting as a powerful spark for these conversions. So researchers have documented thousands of stories, especially from Iran, of former Muslims who have these incredibly powerful, life-changing dreams about Jesus, or Isa, as he's known in Islam. It's so common that some studies suggest that for roughly 1 in 4 converts, a dream like this was a huge turning point in their journey. And we're not talking about fuzzy, hard-to-interpret dreams here. In so many of these accounts, people report hearing direct quotes from the Bible, even if they've never seen or read a Bible in their entire life. I mean, just imagine that, hearing words in a dream and only later finding out they come from a book you've never even touched. What's really fascinating is how the dreams often go right at core Islamic beliefs. For instance, Islam teaches that Jesus was never crucified, but time and time again, people report having these vivid dreams of the cross, just like this account from a man who said he woke up feeling like a massive weight had just been lifted off of him. And yeah, while every dream is unique and personal, the people who study this have noticed some really consistent themes popping up again and again. There's almost always a figure in white, an overwhelming feeling of peace, and a very direct personal invitation to follow. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. What does this all mean for the very soul of a nation? What you're really seeing in Iran is a kind of perfect storm. You've got these 3 huge forces all converging at once. First, this widespread rejection of the state's political religion. Second, the power of technology to get around censorship. And third, these incredibly personal spiritual experiences that the state just can't control. Put it all together, and you get a quiet revolution of faith. And that really leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. All the evidence suggests this huge gap is opening up, a gap between what the Islamic Republic says it is and what its people actually believe in private. So the question for the future is this: when a nation's people and its government no longer believe the same thing, what happens next?